Weekdays, 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
WION, India's global voice. The channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION. World is one.
Vielleicht nur als Impostant.
Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching Gravitas with me, Maha Kumbh. Let's get started. Our top story tonight is about the Gaza Ceasefire Deal. Can the deal survive politics? Is the big question. What is the latest from on the ground? It's a lot to unpack and we are decoding the developments for you in just a bit because the announcement of the deal is just one part of the story. And here's a look at what else is lined up for you on the show tonight. The Indian Space Agency, ISRO, has created history by joining an elite space club. ISRO now joins that list of countries that have performed space docking. We tell you all about this. Why has Joe Biden taken aim at tech oligarchs? What is the message that he's trying to send out? What are the reactions? Will President Trump, coming back to power, have a direct bearing on Pakistan politics, especially in the context of Imran Khan's future? All this and more coming up. Our top story tonight is about Gaza. Can the ceasefire deal survive politics? And here's why I asked that question. The day started with celebrations surrounding a breakthrough in truce talks, but by the afternoon, the long-awaited ceasefire deal seemed increasingly fragile. Israeli airstrikes continued over the Gaza Strip, where scenes of celebration and mourning took place simultaneously. Later in the day, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu postponed the cabinet vote on the deal. Netanyahu's office stated that Israel would not proceed until Hamas complied with certain last-minute concessions. Can the deal survive the politics? Is the immediate question. Will Netanyahu stick to the deal? Will the violence finally cease? You see, the future of the truce remains uncertain. Just have a look at these images now on your screen in scenes that look familiar to what's been happening for the past 15 months. Gaza hospitals continued to be lined with dead bodies, casualties of Israeli strike there. Rushed to the hospital ahead of the ceasefire set to come into effect on Sunday. The strike hit Al-Falah school turned shelter, killing at least 4 Palestinians, including 2 children, and injuring 20.
What did this girl do to deserve this? What did this girl do to deserve this? This is a little young girl. What did she do to deserve this? She's a young girl playing in the yard. What did she do to deserve this?
Israel airstrikes killed at least 73 people in Gaza hours after a ceasefire and hostage release deal was announced. Some Gazans couldn't even afford to celebrate. You see, a ceasefire, when finalized, would come into effect from Sunday, which basically means that Israel can continue to strike Gaza as many times as possible until Sunday. A celebration of the ceasefire is not enough. War analysts and commentators say that the world will have to pressure Israel to halt aggression immediately. They say that the ceasefire deal was called 466 days too late. By the way, we drew up the numbers. Since the war started in October 2023, over 46,000 Palestinians have lost their lives. That's nearly 100 deaths per day. And that figure is considered conservative. The actual death toll could be significantly higher. Based on these calculations, if the violence continues for just 3 more days, we could see at least another 300 Gazans killed, if not more.
Is this the truce they're talking about? What did this young girl, this child, do to deserve this? Is she fighting you, Israel? Where are the Arabs? Where are the Muslims? No one has any conscience. She's a young girl, a child.
Is this the truce they are talking about? That's what one Gazan is lamenting and asking. And it is a legitimate question after all. What is delaying Israel when it comes to finalizing the ceasefire deal? Netanyahu's office has accused Hamas of trying to obtain quote-unquote last-minute concessions on certain aspects of the agreement. However, Hamas has denied these claims. Senior Hamas leaders reportedly rejected Israel's allegations that the Palestinian group was, in fact, reneging on elements of the deal. According to reports, Hamas official Sami Abu Zuhri has stated, and I'm quoting here, there is no basis to Netanyahu's claims about the movement backtracking from the terms of the ceasefire agreement, quote unquote. Earlier, Izzat al-Rishek, member of Hamas's political bureau, has said, and I'm quoting, Hamas is committed to the ceasefire agreement, which was announced by the mediators, quote unquote. So what's really going on? Who is lying, if at all? What is the full truth? The full truth is what we have been saying all along. As far as Israel's war on Gaza is concerned, a military victory was never really possible. Israel needed to reach a ceasefire deal to end the war. But there is only a political solution to this crisis, not a military one. And that's why the Israeli cabinet meeting, which was expected to approve the deal on Thursday, could have been delayed. Netanyahu blamed Hamas for a last-minute crisis, but reports indicating that Netanyahu's far-right allies have refused to back the deal. In fact, the party of Bezalel Smotrich, Israel's finance minister, has said that it is ready to leave the government if they don't get some sort of assurance from Netanyahu that Israel will go back to full-scale war after phase 1 of this deal. Smotrich, along with National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, in fact, has been a staunch opponent of any type of ceasefire deal. The delay only proves the internal political conflict within Netanyahu's government. For now, the Times of Israel reports that Israel's Mossad chief, David Barnea, and other negotiators are still in Doha, hammering out the deal. They are said to be finalizing the details, quote unquote, of the announced ceasefire deal. Even though mediators, Qatar and the US, have declared that a deal has been reached, Israel's cabinet is yet to vote on it. So will the deal survive the politics? Here's hoping. Shifting focus to the United States now, incoming US President Donald Trump's next target is China. There were big clues about what Trump's China policy would look like when Marco Rubio, Trump's nominee for Secretary of State, appeared before US senators for his confirmation hearing on Wednesday. Rubio, who is poised to be Trump's top diplomat, spoke most strongly about the need to confront Beijing, a sign that the new Trump administration will adopt a more aggressive strategy to counter China than the last time. Labeling China as dangerous, Rubio accused the country of cheating its way to superpower status. He warned that if America does not make changes, everything that is important to Americans will depend on whether China allows the US to have it or not. Listen in.
So if we don't change course, we are going to live in a world where much of what matters to us on a daily basis, from our security to our health, will be dependent on whether the Chinese allow us to have it or not. That's an unacceptable outcome.
Now, this does not come as a surprise. Rubio has long been one of Congress's leading advocates for stronger China policy. In fact, his support for Hong Kong democracy protesters earned him Chinese sanctions in 2020, which means that he could be the first Secretary of State under active Chinese travel restrictions, and that's significant. Regardless, Rubio is expected to wield the US State Department's own sanction powers against Chinese officials, having promoted greater sanctions against China as a senator. On Taiwan, Rubio has said that Washington must help the self-governing island with its so-called porcupine strategy to discourage an invasion, a strategy that will make it harder for China to attack. And Rubio warned that unless the US makes these so-called dramatic changes, it would have to deal with the prospect of a cataclysmic military intervention in the Indo-Pacific before the end of the decade.
Cost of invading Taiwan higher than the benefit. We want to discourage that by the Chinese believing that, yes, could they ultimately win an invasion of Taiwan, but the price would be too high to pay. It's basically deterrence. And I think that's critical, not just to defending Taiwan, to preventing a cataclysmic military intervention in the Indo-Pacific. And that's what it would be.
During his 3 Senate terms, Rubio has sponsored several pro-Taiwan bills. In 2020, for that matter, he met with Taiwan's then Vice President and now President Lai Ching-te, whom Beijing calls a separatist. Remember, China views Taiwan as a breakaway province and has in recent years ratcheted up military pressure on the island. China's ongoing pressure campaign includes near-daily incursions into Taiwan's air defense identification zone and major military drills, such as a simulated blockade of the island. China has also accelerated the production of dual-use naval vessels, including roll-on, roll-off cargo ships capable of transporting troops as well as vehicles across the Taiwan Strait. As the next Secretary of State, Rubio is expected to try and strengthen American alliances in Asia in a bid to deter China from aggressive military actions. However, Rubio may face challenges against Trump's skepticism of allies. Trump sees countries like Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, and Taiwan, all territories most under threat from China, as free riders. His past comments suggesting that he believes these countries rely too much on the American military for their protection. Comments made by Trump on the campaign trail, including a suggestion Taipei should pay the US for its defense, have therefore raised questions about his commitment to Taiwan. But it was Rubio who last summer insisted that his Taiwan commitment remains strong. Shifting focus for now, India's space agency, ISRO, has made history. This morning, ISRO aced its maiden space docking mission, a niche and sophisticated technology that is key to several high-end space missions. ISRO now joins an elite list of countries that have performed space docking. Let's first just tell you more about what makes space docking such a praiseworthy technological feat. You see, docking is the process of mechanically attaching spacecraft that are circling the Earth. Think of the International Space Station. It is as long as a football field and as spacious as a 5-bedroom house, just for context. Obviously, it's impossible to launch such a massive structure into space. And that is where the process of docking comes in. By launching multiple large components into space, it's possible to autonomously assemble them via docking. Also, docking has various applications. Docking enables the transfer of fuel, cargo, even astronauts between two spacecraft. So far, the US, Russia, China, and Europe have mastered docking technology. And now India has successfully demonstrated autonomous space docking. India's SpaceX mission was launched on the 30th of December 2024. ISRO's workhorse PSLV rocket carried the twin satellites, a target and a chaser, each weighing about 220 kgs. Earlier this month, the satellites were 21 kilometers apart, and gradually ISRO tested all their systems and sensors, and then started moving the satellites closer to each other. Eventually, this led to the docking. By the end of this decade, India is looking to perform Chandrayaan-4, a mission to land a robotic craft on the moon and bring back samples. India also wants to build its own space station. For accomplishing both these missions, India must master docking technology. And just to understand the process better and its significance, WION's principal correspondent, Siddharth MP, recently spoke to M. Shankaran, the director of ISRO's UR Rao Satellite Center, to help understand the intricacies of space docking.
Kindly tell us, sir, how complicated this? The satellites are traveling at 28,000 kilometers per hour and autonomously they'll have to dock?
Correct. It is like you would have seen in the movie Speed, how the two buses are going at 100 miles per hour together parallelly, and you have to put a bridge and transfer people. It is exactly like that, but only the speed is going to be at least another 2,000 times more. That is the difficulty in this work. But it is not impossible. People have already done it. We have developed our own technology.
Our next story is about an incident that happened in India's Mumbai but has sent shock waves across the country and beyond. Indian film actor Saif Ali Khan was admitted to the hospital earlier today after he was allegedly stabbed during a robbery at his house. In the latest, he is now safe and out of danger. As per a statement from the actor's team, Khan has come out of surgery and is out of danger. The statement read, and I'm quoting, "He is currently in recovery and the doctors are monitoring his progress. All family members are safe and the police is investigating the incident," quote unquote. In fact, the team also thanked fans and well-wishers for their prayers and thoughts during this time. So what really happened? You see, the fact that an incident like this one happened is concerning in itself, and the fact that it has happened with a celebrity has ignited serious concern, leaving behind questions like if this can happen to the actor, how worried should people be so on and so forth. So it's important to first understand what happened and what really is known so far. A police official has revealed that an unidentified intruder broke into the actor's residence at 2:30 a.m. on Thursday and got into a scuffle with him, leaving the actor badly injured. Khan's house help, who raised the initial alarm, suffered a minor knife injury during the scuffle. She later visited the police station to lodge a complaint for alleged attempted murder and trespassing. Mumbai police have released the first photo of the man who is suspected to have entered the house of Saif Ali Khan. The man was captured on CCTV at 2:33 a.m. in the stairwell of the actor's building. In the photo released by the police, the man can be seen dressed in a t-shirt and jeans, carrying a backpack and what appears to be an orange scarf. In fact, many reports are also suggesting that it can be an insider job. Authorities are also exploring potential connections to the infamous black buck poaching case involving Bollywood actor Salman Khan. Now, according to reports, the police are examining whether there is any link between the attack on Saif Ali Khan and the ongoing threats made by the gangster Lawrence Bishnoi. Earlier today, Saif Ali Khan's wife and Bollywood A-lister Kareena Kapoor Khan also released a statement. The actor requested for privacy for the family in these tough times. You see, the attack on Saif Ali Khan has left fans and celebrities extremely worried across the country, with reactions like, if a star like Saif Ali Khan, who they believe lives in a highly secured house, can be attacked, then what about the common man? Like actor and Saif Ali Khan's neighbor, Karishma Tanna, has said, this incident is definitely a wake-up call for everyone. So there is clearly a lot of concern. Questions are being asked like, is Bombay safe? Naturally, there is interest, concern, intrigue, also given that there is an element of safety that one attaches to a place like Bombay, for example, and with the residences of celebrities. So the fact that this has happened with a celebrity has left a lot of people wanting to know more. Shifting focus for now, Hindenburg research shuts down with immediate effect just days ahead of Donald Trump's inauguration. The founder, Nate Anderson, did not give any specific reason in his personal note, though raising several questions and leading to speculation. The timing and the sudden decision to shut shop have raised several questions. Is Hindenburg research frightened of Donald Trump, for example? As the disbanding news comes just 3 days before Trump takes office, more critical questions have been raised in the wake of Anderson's announcement. The firm is known for scathing financial fraud reports on big corporations, with India's Adani Group being prominent in early 2023. The other questions doing the rounds, is it Trump 2.0 or the increased scrutiny on short sellers? The Securities and Exchange Commission has been pursuing short sellers with a laser-focused intent since Trump's victory. Expectations are that the crackdown under Trump 2.0 could become a lot more intense. And the questions come after recent events that include Trump's reaction to rumors that some investors intend to short sell Trump Media and Technology Group shares. He demanded an investigation into market manipulators or short sellers, quote unquote, from the appropriate authorities, quote unquote. Hindenburg founder, in a personal note, has said, I'm quoting, as I've shared with family, friends and our team since late last year, I have made the decision to disband Hindenburg research, quote unquote. The founder said, quoting further, the plan has been to wind up after we finish the pipeline of ideas we were working on. And as of the last Ponzi cases we just completed and are sharing with regulators, that day is today, quote unquote. Anderson added, quoting further, we shook some empires that we felt needed shaking, quote unquote. And on the reason for winding down what the founder calls a successful firm, he said, quoting, so why disband now There is not one specific thing, no particular threat, no health issue, and no big personal issue, quote unquote. Anderson cited that the intensity and focus of the work at the research firm had him neglect many aspects of life and the people important to him. He added, I'm quoting, "I now view Hindenburg as a chapter in my life, not a central thing that defines me," quote unquote. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer arrived in Ukraine on an unannounced visit. He was in Kiev to sign a security and trade pact with Ukraine in a public show of support for President Volodymyr Zelensky before Donald Trump returns to power in the United States. Starmer's visit comes 2 days after the German defense minister traveled to the country, with European leaders weighing what security guarantees they can provide as part of any peace agreement that may be pushed by Donald Trump, leaving behind a string of questions. Our next report telling you more about them.
Loud blasts and air raid sirens rang out over Kiev, hours after Starmer's arrival, as air defense systems in central Kiev repelled what Ukraine claimed a Russian drone attack. It is Starmer's first official visit to Kiev since taking office last July. Downing Street said that Starmer signed a landmark 100-year partnership to deepen security ties. The deal commits the two sides to cooperate on defense and battlefield technology such as drones, while implementing a system to help locate grain exported by Russia from occupied parts of Ukraine. Starmer said that the landmark deal reflects a new partnership between UK and Ukraine.
It has been, and one of the consequences of this conflict has been to draw NATO more strongly together. It's bigger and stronger than it has been, and we must stand behind Ukraine for as long as it takes. But when we say Ukraine must be in the strongest possible position, that can't be just words.
In the last few days, Russia and Ukraine both have intensified attacks on each other. Ukraine confirmed that it has struck an oil depot in western Russia, where officials had claimed earlier that Kiev's drones sparked a blaze in the Voronezh region bordering Ukraine. The attack is the latest aerial assault by Ukraine to target Russian energy sites and military facilities in a campaign that has escalated this week. Kiev earlier claimed it has carried out its largest aerial attack of the war on Russian army factories and energy hubs hundreds of kilometers from the front line at 7 places. Russia responded with a mass missile and drone attack that primarily targeted Ukrainian energy facilities in the west of the country. Zelensky is keen to firm up security guarantees from key allies, wary that a new US administration might push Ukraine to make peace with Russia. As Marco Rubio, US President-elect Donald Trump's Secretary of State pick, has said, next administration would seek bold diplomacy with the goal of ending Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
There will have to be concessions made by the Russian Federation, but also by the Ukrainians, and the United States lend itself there. It's also important that there be some balance on both sides. In essence, it will be difficult to achieve this objective of a ceasefire and ultimately a peace settlement unless both sides have leverage.
Ukraine's president, in coordination with Western allies, is intensifying efforts to secure robust guarantees ahead of Trump's inauguration on January 20th, pushing for a strong bargaining position. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Our next story is about Joe Biden. On Wednesday, during his farewell address, US President Joe Biden warned that an American oligarchy is taking shape, a tech oligarchy, if you will, of a few tech billionaires who have amassed, quote-unquote, a dangerous concentration of power. He warned Americans of a tech industrial complex in words that echoed President Eisenhower's farewell address in 1961. Listen to this for yourself first.
This is a dangerous concentration, and that's a dangerous concentration of power in the hands of a very few ultra-wealthy people. And the dangerous consequences if their abuse of power is left unchecked. Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights and freedoms, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead.
And that is a big statement coming in from the outgoing American president. Although he did not mention names, Biden's oligarch remark could be referring to Elon Musk, as many have pointed out, who has landed himself a leadership role in the incoming Trump administration. Musk, the richest man on earth and Tesla CEO and SpaceX CEO, spent an estimated $250 million of his own money to help get Trump elected, as far as his campaign is concerned. Meanwhile, social media companies have donated heavily to Trump's inauguration. Alongside Musk, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg also appears to be a specific target of Biden's concerns regarding the rise in misinformation and conspiracy theories across social media platforms.
Americans are being buried under an avalanche of misinformation and disinformation, enabling the abuse of power. The free press is crumbling. Editors are disappearing. Social media is giving up on fact-checking. The truth is smothered by lies told for power and for profit. We must hold the social platforms accountable to protect our children, our families, and our very democracy from the abuse of power.
Did you catch that? Social media is giving up on fact-checking, quote-unquote. That line was a clear shot at Mark Zuckerberg. Just last week, remember, Zuckerberg announced that Meta would scrap its third-party fact-checking program for Facebook, Instagram, and Threads in the US. Meta will also be removing several restrictions around heated topics. Musk, Zuckerberg, Amazon executive chairman Jeff Bezos, along with other tech CEOs Tim Cook, Sundar Pichai, will feature prominently at Trump's swearing-in ceremony. They will be sitting with the Republicans' cabinet nominees as well as elected officials in a position of honor on the dais alongside former presidents and family members. These same CEOs, either through their companies or via personal contributions, have reportedly donated $1 million apiece to Trump's inauguration fund. Even though Biden took aim at the so-called tech oligarchs, research shows that the very richest Americans are among the biggest winners from Joe Biden's time in office as president. According to Bloomberg Billionaires Index, over the last 4 years, the 100 wealthiest Americans got more than $1.5 trillion richer, with tech tycoons including Elon Musk, Larry Ellison, Mark Zuckerberg leading the way. In fact, Federal Reserve estimates through September showing that the top 0.1% gained more than $6 trillion. But it's not just Biden. Even under Trump, the top US billionaires did far better than almost everyone else. To be fair, the increase was slightly bigger in Biden's term. Will President Trump coming back to power have a direct bearing on Pakistan politics, especially in the context of Imran Khan? We tell you why this question is being asked and the implications. You see, Imran Khan and Trump have been good friends after a flaky start and war of tweets in 2019. The two met in person thrice in a span of 6 months between July 2019 and January 2020. During Imran Khan's tenure, high-level US-Pak engagements had restored. It was during Imran Khan's tenure that the military education program for Pakistan military was restored by the US, and also the F-16 technical support program. The military's dilemma now is around what to do with Khan following Trump's re-election. Will Pakistan lose its biggest trading partner due to the stubbornness of some of its generals regarding Imran Khan? The Pakistani diaspora in the US is considerably smaller. It's just over 500,000, as per a 2023 number put out by the American Community Survey. But as little they might be, they are influential and strong enough. Some of them have been politically active, by the way, have been political donors and funders. Recently, Trump's political aide, Richard Grenell, put out some tweets demanding Imran Khan's release. Trump's cabinet nominees in the past have tweeted about Imran Khan's jail conditions. The Pakistan government, on its part, has changed the course of critique and drawing parallels between the 9th of May 2023 and the 6th of Jan 2021 Capitol Hill riots. Following the election of President Trump, lawmakers and even ministers have deleted their previous tweets where they drew parallels with these two events, between these two events. Since Shehbaz Sharif took charge, Pakistan-US engagement has been at its lowest, with incremental US sanctions on Pakistan's ballistic missile program. No telephone call took place between President Biden and Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. The two have barely had a customary meeting on the sidelines of the UNGA inaugural dinner. In such a scenario, Imran Khan can possibly mend the US-Pakistan relationship given his proximity with President Trump from the past. And this puts the establishment in a fix in Pakistan. Of late, the government and opposition have been holding negotiations to ensure political stability. 2 rounds of these talks have already been held, with a third being scheduled to be held on the 16th of January. Imran Khan has been unflinching in his demand of an election audit and getting back his mandate. Amid all this, the question arises, will the Trump effect take Pakistan's government down and out following him taking office? And we will have to wait for that answer to emerge. Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. There are 2 big names. They have a lot in common than one could actually imagine. Both billionaires, tech industry leaders, CEOs of multi-billion-dollar companies, charting incredible success stories. It's easy to fathom that they would have the world at their feet in a way, when, in fact, it's no secret that they are vying for more, where the sky is no longer the limit. The space is, perhaps. Let me just break this down for you. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos' a space company, Blue Origin, successfully launched its reusable rocket, New Glenn, from Florida on January 16. And what a debut it had, as it blasted off right into orbit in its very first attempt. But that is just half the story, as it's now being pitted against its rival, Musk's SpaceX. The rocket has been launched from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida at 2 a.m. local time. Hundreds of employees at the company's Kent, Washington headquarters roared in applause as Blue Origin VP announced the rocket's second stage finally made it to orbit. In a post on X, Musk congratulated Bezos for successfully reaching orbit on the first attempt. His comment came in reply to Blue Origin's update on Glenn's status on the rocket launch. And following this, Bezos replied to Musk's post thanking him, thus marking a moment of Bezos' official entry into the commercial space race, alongside his competitor Musk. But what more do we know about the rocket launch at this point? Well, New Glenn, a name inspired from John Glenn, the first American to orbit Earth in 1962, is about 30 stories tall. with a reusable first stage. New Glenn boasts of 7 thundering BE-4 engines, which as per the Blue Origin is the most powerful LNG-fueled oxygen-rich staged combustion engine capable of lifting heavier payloads to orbit. And as per reports, it's even more powerful than SpaceX's most commonly used rocket, the Falcon 9. Moreover, it can carry more satellites, and Bezos wants to use it as part of his project, Kuiper, which aims to deploy thousands of low Earth satellites to provide broadband services. However, there were some roadblocks that the launch faced. What are they, you ask? This is the rocket's second liftoff attempt this week, which basically means that the first attempt was not quite successful. And why is that? New Glenn was supposed to fly before dawn on Monday, but ice buildup in critical plumbing reportedly caused a delay. While the second stage did reach orbit and was performing well, Blue Origin said in its latest update that the booster was lost during the descent, as it also called landing the booster on the first attempt was admittedly an ambitious goal. The New Glenn launch was a big budget project to begin with even higher stakes involved. And as per reports, the company has invested over $1 billion in developing New Glenn's launch site, transforming the historic Complex 36 into a state-of-the-art faculty. But on top of all, New Glenn's launch was also used as an occasion to make a rather firm statement, one that implied that it has arrived upon the space scene and that private space expeditions no longer remain uncontested. As the project seeks to compete directly with Musk's Starlink service, and in the coming days, with two powerful men vying for bolder ambitions in the outer space, how space exploration will be conducted is anybody's guess. Today is day 4 of the Maha Kumbh festival. The sacred confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati rivers, Triveni Sangam, is attracting millions of devotees. Our special correspondent Johan Castell is on the ground getting you our next report.
We are on the ground in Prayagraj right now for day 3 of the Maha Kumbh Mela festival. On day 1, there were 17 million people who attended. On day 2, Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, stated that 35 million people attended for the first Amrit Snan, or royal bath. Today is day 3, so we are in the juicy area right now to hear what people have to say about it. Divyansh. So, Divyansh, how are you finding Kumbh Mela? How is it here?
It's good and it feels like I'm in a spiritual place.
Yeah? You had a lot of fun today?
Yeah, I have fun today.
Yeah. Did you go to the bathing ghat yesterday?
Bathing?
Did you go for dipping in the Triveni Sangam yesterday?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I got there.
How was it? Was there a lot of people there?
Yeah, but not like... But yesterday there were a lot of people there, but not today.
Oh, you went there today also, but there was no people there.
No, there were few people, but there were... I just put my hand and legs today, but I bathed to yesterday.
Oh, yesterday you went dipping on the auspicious day.
With my family.
Your whole family went inside.
Yeah.
Moving on for now to Georgia, where former Prime Minister and opposition party leader Georgy Gakaria has been hospitalized after being reportedly attacked by members of the ruling Georgian Dream Party. As per reports, Gakaria came under attack at a hotel and is said to have suffered a broken nose and a mild concussion. On Wednesday, Georgy Gakaria posted on social media that health-wise I'm doing fine, quote unquote, even as his doctor cited criticality of his health. Meanwhile, Bedia Sechenava, a member of Gakaria's party, accused Georgia's shadow leader of orchestrating the attack on Gakharia. According to him, the incident took place on Tuesday night in the Black Sea port town of Batumi, where Gakharia was visiting his party members to show solidarity against the recent arrests of opposition supporters.
ივანიშვილის დავალებით, რომელიც ყველა უღირსი მეთოდით ცდილობს რეჟიმის გადარჩენას, ღამის საათებში სასტუმრო შერატონის ლობიში გიორგი გახარიაზე განხორციელდა ორგანიზებული თავდასხმა. თავდასხმისას გიორგი გახარია იმყოფებოდა მარტო, რა დროსაც მას ლაჩხრულად, როგორც ეს ადამიანების ცხოვრების წესია, თავს დაესხა 10-მდე პირი.
However, Georgia's current Prime Minister accused Gakharia of instigating the clash by himself. Meanwhile, an MP with Georgian Dream and other members of the party have been linked to the assault, which took place shortly after a journalist and regional head of anti-corruption organization Transparency International also came under attack. You see, in Georgia, the situation remains tense following the ruling party's decision to halt EU accession talks. Meanwhile, protests have broken out in areas like Batumi and other major cities where hundreds of pro-EU demonstrators have been arrested. Just for context, Gakharia served as Prime Minister under the current ruling Georgian Dream Party. In 2021, he resigned following a court ruling to arrest a top opposition politician. And since then, Gakharia has formed a party that opposes Georgian Dream. Now, as far as the attack itself is concerned, at this point, a lot of questions remain unanswered. We will see what comes out in the coming days. The sale of a mislabeled ham sandwich in Malaysia has sparked a sensitive debate. The sale of the sandwich with fraudulent halal logo reportedly at a store on the University Malaya campus has emphasized tensions over the authenticity of halal certifications, highlighting its intersection with race, religion and culture. A student's social media post brought attention to the issue, prompting Malaysia's Department of Islamic Development to confirm that the sandwich's producer lacked proper certification. Malay Nationalist Party criticized the chain store, with youth chief Akmal Saleh questioning how ham, traditionally pork-based, could be labelled halal. Authorities have not clarified if the product contained pork. Malaysia's halal certification, vital for businesses in the Muslim-majority country, faces scrutiny over its strict requirements and misuse. Some businesses opt for labels like Muslim-friendly to bypass certification hurdles. Halal certification is a key economic driver, projected to grow the industry to over $113 billion by 2030. KK Supermart pledged cooperation and legal action against the supplier. The incident reflects broader challenges in Malaysia's halal industry. In the world of space, some exciting news coming in from China. A new space communication technology is taking wireless connectivity to a whole new level. Scientists have reportedly successfully tested a space version of China's Neuralink wireless module, also called Aerospace Neuralink, which promises to revolutionize rocket communication. This technology is designed to replace Bluetooth and offers faster communication with lower latency. Now you might be wondering, what is latency? Latency refers to the time delay between sending and receiving data. Traditional communication systems have delays measured in milliseconds, that is 1,000th of a second, but Aerospace Neuralink slashes that delay to microseconds, a much smaller unit of time, which makes communication almost instantaneous. The new technology is expected to reduce the weight of heavy rocket cables, saving both space and launch costs. The new system is also capable of handling extreme temperatures, which often results in data loss in traditional systems. This space version of the Neuralink is part of a bigger project by China's Xingshan Alliance, which includes major companies like Huawei. The technology is not only helping rockets, but it's already been used in products like smartphones, earphones, wireless accessories. What would you do if Brad Pitt messages you on Instagram? You would think that it's a fake DM or a prank being pulled on you by one of your friends perhaps. Let's tell you more about what happened with a French woman. She thought that the man she was talking to and eventually started dating was Brad Pitt without realizing that she was actually being scammed. A few days ago, 53-year-old Anne reported that she was scammed by someone who was pretending to be her boyfriend and Hollywood star Brad Pitt. She told a popular French YouTube show that she was quote-unquote not crazy but just someone who got played. And said that she had been dating scamster Brad Pitt for 1.5 years. Basically, since the time she downloaded Instagram. Anne was immediately contacted by someone who said that they were Pitt's mother, Jane Etta, who told Anne her son, quote-unquote, needed a woman just like her. Somebody purporting to be Pitt got in touch the next day, which set off alarm bells for Anne, but she did not pay much heed. At one point, scamster Brad Pitt, quote-unquote, said that he tried to send her luxury gifts, but that he was unable to pay customs on them as his bank accounts were frozen due to his divorce proceedings with actor Angelina Jolie, prompting Anne to transfer $800,000 to the scammers. Little did she know that it was just the beginning. The request for money ramped up when the fake Brad Pitt told Anne that he needed cash to pay for kidney cancer treatment, sending her AI-generated photos of the actor in the hospital, on a hospital bed. Meanwhile, Anne and her husband divorced and she was awarded a huge sum of alimony, all of which went to the scammers reportedly. But soon Anne understood. She became suspicious when she read reports of Brad Pitt dating someone else. The scammers denied reports, but Anne eventually realized she was being conned. She filed a lawsuit and a police inquiry is currently underway. Meanwhile, a representative for Brad Pitt warned fans. He said, and I'm quoting, "It's awful that scammers take advantage of fans' strong connection with celebrities. But this is an important reminder to not respond to unsolicited online outreach, especially from actors who have no social media presence," quote unquote. On that note, it's a wrap on this edition of Gravitas Tonight. This is me, Molly Gambhir, signing off. Thanks for watching.
Amid escalating violence in the eastern regions of the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Congolese army announces significant military gains against the M23 rebel group, with Rwanda's Paul Kagame calling for dialogue. Benin celebrates Vodun Days, a festival centered around the arts, culture and spirituality of the voodoo cult, where women are the mainstay of the festivities. And Senegal aims to promote their culture using toys like traditional wrestler figurines or dolls that come in a wide range of skin tones, including albino. That's this week on World of Africa. At these times on WION, World is One.
As California wildfires continue to wreak havoc, we tell you all about its impact on Hollywood. Know why the Monkey King is gaining prominence on social media. And check out our list of movies that every cat lover will love. All this and much more with me, Isha Hanspal, at these times only on WION eClub.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets. WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Ready to dive into your daily dose of news?
Bringing you what's trending in the West and all that's setting trends in the East.
And all of this served up with a side of insightful banter.
We don't just bring you the latest stories.
We bring you your talking points for the day.
And while you do that, from the busy streets of New York, I will provide you with deeper insights on the developments through the course of the day in the US.
And I will be here at the WION headquarters, getting you all the action from the universe of sport. All that you need to know about your favorite teams and players, right here.
The show that keeps you ahead of the global curve. A conversation you'd want to be a part of. A place where news becomes an engaging exchange.
We bring you stories that impact your present.
This is World DNA. Join the conversation.
After 15 months of relentless conflict, a breakthrough moment. Israel and Hamas reach a historic ceasefire hostage deal.
After 8 months of non-stop negotiation, my administration, a ceasefire and hostage deal has been reached by Israel and Hamas.
World leaders unite to welcome a fragile but hopeful peace. A deal that could reshape the future of the region. The joy, the relief, the promise of a new beginning. Tune in for in-depth coverage only on WION.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate Tracker on WION World is One.
This week on the West Asia Post. As Palestinians and Israelis wait for the arrival of their loved ones, U.S. top diplomat criticizes Israel's policies on Palestine. Yemen's Houthis are gaining an edge over Israel. Meanwhile, Iran unveils its intelligence ship and missiles, warns U.S. President-elect Donald Trump against starting a war. We also talk about Lebanon's new Prime Minister and the country's political future.
Watch the West Asia Post with me, Radi Francis, only on WION. World is One.
Know more? Understand better? Think ahead. Hello and a very warm welcome. You are watching Gravitas with me, Maha Kumbh. Get the facts, not the bombast. On the 26th of March, dynamic pricing, Baloch separatists, Gravitas cuts out the clutter. Gravitas keeps calm when others scream. Gravitas brings news to life. Weekdays 9 p.m. IST, 3:30 p.m. GMT. Gravitas. Seeing is believing.
The biggest gathering of humanity on the planet.
This is quite an interesting spot.
WION brings you exclusive coverage from the ground of the Maha Kumbh Mela.
These bikes will be patrolling all around.
From security to infrastructure, from tent city to Sangam, we've got you covered. This is Tribeni Sangam, where Ganga, Yamuna and the mythical Saraswati rivers meet. Experience faith. Experience culture.
Tent as well.
Experience Maha Kumbh. Only on WION. World is one.
Thanks for tuning in to WION World is One. You're with me, Isha Hanspal, on WION Pulse now. The headlines. Since the announcement of a ceasefire deal, the IDF says it struck 50 targets throughout the Gaza Strip. It says it has hit launch posts and weapon sites of the Hamas